What's up, guys? Aussie Sim commentator here. How are you doing out there today? We are here for Output Racing League Season 2 of 2019, race number 5. But more importantly, we are back with the broadcast. I just gotta get a few things restarted here. It's been a while, so I'm a little bit out of practice. It looks like the gentleman here might be getting ready to perform a pit party, so we might go and join them so we could do a quick run through of how this car has been reacting. Oh, and all of a sudden my frame rate's really bad too. So we're just going to tag onto the back of these guys. Got new points leaver Steve Turner right in front of us. So he'll definitely be able to show us how it's done around here. Now, draft is going to play a very important part in the racing here today. With this new package and how long these straights are, if you want to be up towards the top in qualifying and if you want to do well in the race, then you're going to have to get going with the draft. As we got Thomas Harmon right here in front of us. Oh, he gets tight and hits the wall. That was a scary situation. Now, unfortunately here at Indianapolis, there's not many lines you can run, as we see Steve going for a big spin there. But in saying that, it's still a very difficult track to drive if you don't drive it right. Just like with Daytona and Talladega, you gotta treat Indianapolis with respect, or else Indianapolis is not gonna show you none. And the pit road is a little bit difficult to get onto. You see, you have to use the access roads to get out of the pits. And as soon as you get off that low line, see, look, lost all that momentum. Almost lost a full second to Dylan in front of us there. And then Dylan just promptly goes and spins himself. But yeah, the difficulty of getting back onto pit road is that the cones that determine where pit lane starts are a little bit further back than where they are for the IndyCar. So you got to start checking up pretty much right on the apex of turn 4 there, so you can get that nice entry into the pits. Leave it too late, you'll get yourself a penalty.
Start looking for your sign.
Now let's go back out and we'll see the goings on of everyone else around the track. Looks like we got the 8 of Frank Isaacson on screen right now. He's also got the 98 there of Jerry Glenn. And the 16 car, which is being driven by Charles Becker. These guys are having a fairly intense battle here, which we're going to have to come to expect with this package. At the moment, Steve Turner is the man on top of the standings with a 50.009. Oh, as we saw some action there in the back. That was the 13 of Travis Massia and the 8 of Frank Isaacson there. Oh, Travis went for the inside move and they both hit the wall. Oh, that is a thunderous crash. As we're now looking at the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, and I'm not sure who that is behind him. The number didn't come too clearly. Oh, either way, they both just smashed the wall there. I think that's the 33 of Nathan Jurgensen? No, Ty Marusco. Nicely presented 33 though. And we got Jaron's new wall paint for this car as well there in the 4. Jaron decides to bring it in the pits, and look at that, he's got it wrong. Came 90 degrees across it, and he's going to bail out from there. We'll go back to looking at the 33 now. Now we've changed up where we're looking again. Got the 26, Steve Turner, the new points leader for this race. Right behind him is the 86 of Gerald West. Right behind them is the 38 of Thomas Harmon. At the moment, Steve Turner, as I said, is on top of the table as he pulls into the pits. Gerald West in the 86. I think this is going to be the first lap he's going to lay down. He's down in 18th at the moment. Right now we have 12 cars separated by a second here in practice times. 12. Now if this isn't going to provide some close hard action, I'm not sure what will. As we see there, the 16 again. Oh, who was that? I'm not sure who that was. That was crashed down on the infield there. But we're back with the 16 and the 88. That's Jonathan Hernandez, currently P5. And the 16 is Charles Becker. And he's Shell V-Power Ford Mustang. Looks like Jonathan is driving pretty well, and he's disappearing again. Jonathan likes to do a little bit of a disappearing act as he gets loose after hitting the curb. That is going to be something that we've got to watch out for, is drivers going too low and hitting that ripple strip on the inside of the corner. It might be good for some categories of cars to go and hit that little ripple strip, but for these cars, not so much. As we see now, the 88 bailing out of his run. Looks like the guys are organising themselves into a pit party. So we'll see how this turns out. Steve, not wanting to wait around for them, has already taken off. And there is the 1 there as well. There's Brandon Bennett. Currently 1.121 off the lead. Looks like we've got just about everyone in on this pit party. The camera might go a little bit of everywhere when it's trying to figure out who it's going to focus on. As these guys are going to start getting themselves sorted out into a 2x2 formation. Looks like we're going to be led away by points leader Steve Turner. As we already see some drama with that car that was starting the outside of the second row hitting the wall already. Not sure who that was or why, but yeah, that was a bit weird. They might have broken a steering rack or something. Right, the pace car is in, and these guys are off and away now. Look at them all just perfectly in line, bump drafting as they're coming into turn number 1. And thunder along now. Steve has taken the clear lead of this pack. And the cars now start to spread out as everyone's trying to find their space. Everyone's trying to find a drafting partner. This definitely looks like a super speedway race, that is for sure. Steve now defending the line down low from Ashton. No, that's not Ashton. That's the 88 there. Oh, I looked over at my timing monitor and thought, oh yeah, the guy in second's in second. No. Oh, we got a big crash in the back. I saw the 31. I'm not sure who that was with him, but the 31 just got smashed into it. Let's go and see what happened. It looks like the one abandoned Brandon Bennett and the 31, and oh, the 8 of Frank Isaacson got caught up in that. That's unfortunate. We go back up to our front leading pack now. 26 of Steve Turner is still in first, Jonathan Hernandez second, and Jaron Sanchez is in third. Oh, we got some more drama in the back. I saw the 13 of Travis Massier. Let's see what happened with these guys. Thomas and Travis both using the ripple strip. Travis getting loose. And he also took out the 28 of Brandon Stevens with him. That's going to put them on the back foot for practice here, as we've got more drama in the back there again. I see the 98 car there. Oh, that's bump drafting gone wrong. Not sure who that second car is in that. But that is definitely the 98 of Jerry Glenn. Back to our leader, Steve Turner now. Still got the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez right on his tail. Oh, as we see Jaron hit the wall. Looks like he might pull out of this now. The car behind him also hit the wall. I think that was the 68 car. It was, as we got a spinner in the background. That is the 3 of Dylan Patterson. 68 car is driven by Ashton Schleiss. I'm just going to call him Ashton. I'm not butchering last names. I refuse to butcher last names. Speaking of butchering last names, Brian Pizzikemi has just taken over the 3rd spot. We've got the 12 there as well. That is, of course, Matt Burgess. We're just going to focus on Brian here for a second. Let's look at his rear chase. Oh, look at that. It's league owner and operator, Mr. Jaron Sanchez, on the front of Brian's car. Sorry, folks, I just had to do that. As we see now, Brian chasing on the tail of Matt Burgess right now. These guys are in 4th and 5th. We see someone pull the ripcord and go to the pits. I do think that Brian indeed has all 5 lug nuts on that left front wheel. Oh no, he's hit the wall! I think the 12 of Matt Burgess is gone as well. Let's go back and have a look at that from outside the cars. It looks like they've both just got really tight. They've both smashed the wall. Brian probably got the worst of that with spinning down and hitting that inside wall. It looks like everyone has now pulled out of doing their run there. Now it looks like we've got the 21 and the 31 locked in an intense battle. The 31 is Matthew Shields. Oh, Thomas Harmon. He just went for a spin. And that is actually the end of practice. Now, something new for this season, guys. We are going into open qualifying. Something that I wish I'd been able to cover, but because of the issues I had, we haven't had the chance. It looks like leading the way out of the pits is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Steve Turner, points leader, is coming out right behind him. The one thing with the open qualifying here with this package is you don't want to get left behind. You definitely want a drafting partner. You probably want to be in the full pack because just 1 or 2 cars ain't going to do it. Also, another new rule for this season is only the top 25 will make the race. We won't have that issue today with there being 22 cars qualifying for this race. There is a provisional for the top 10 drivers. And by top 10, I mean the top 10 in points. We're looking at the one of Brandon Bennett, who's right behind Jaron Sanchez. Jaron peaks down low. Couldn't get a move done there. I think that is the 42 of Logan Lansford. Let's have a look out the back of his car at Jaron. Everyone going to the low side of the track there. Why are they trying to break the draft? This is qualifying. Wendell Lowe has laid down the first lap. A 1 minute 10.046. He must be pitted behind the start finish line. Oh, and Jaron's gotten loose. Oh, and he's taken out Brandon Bennett with him. Steve Turner now with the first lap down. That's given Steve a 50.098. Jonathan Hernandez currently P2. 0.144 behind. Logan Lansford currently P3. Thomas Harmon P4. Brian Pizzikemi P5. Charles Becker P6. Ashton has now taken the lead. The 56 car with a 50.041. Oh, we see a spin there. That is the 68. That is Ashton. Let's see what happened to Ashton there. He just got tight and hit the wall right behind the 18. And that is Brian Beach in the 18. So does anyone have an answer for Ashton then? Ashton currently with a 0.05 second lead on the timetables. Travis Massier has made his way up into the third spot, just 0.194 behind Ashton. As we see some more drama with cars spinning. And now here comes another big pack. We now have 23 cars registered for the race. 2 more is the cap for the field. We're looking at the 38 of Thomas Harmon, currently down in the 7th position. He is in the middle of a group of 6 there by the looks of things. As we see the 31 of Matthew Shields going for a big spin in 1 and 2, which is where these guys are heading. The 8 of Frank Isaacson has gone for a spin. What was that? Who was that? Sorry guys, I'm going to be doing a little bit of looking here to find out who that was. That was the 33 car there, Ty Marasco. After Frank hit the wall. Oh, just goes and smashes the 68 on pit entry. That's not very good at all. That might end up in a reprimand, to be honest. As we're now looking at the 99 car, that is Dustin German. Currently all the way down in 20th. Right on the tail of Brian Beach, who is in 21st. Right behind them is Logan Lansford in the 42 car. As we see, we've got another gaggle of cars coming out of the pits. These guys in the back here still looking like they're getting a little bit frisky. Matt Burgess, by the way, has stepped up into the 3rd position. Just 0.171 off the leading time set by Ashton. Oh, so we got some more drama. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez is involved, and it looks like the 33 again. Oh, they both hit the wall and go for a crash. And just a reminder, guys, this is the Gladiator 150. Now we're looking at the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Sorry for the breaking commentary there, guys. They are right behind the 33 of Ty, I do believe. And right behind them is the 98 car of Jerry Glenn. We now have 24 cars registered for the race. We have one stopped on the inside of the track there for some reason. So yeah, thanks to Gladiator for sponsoring this race. This is the Gladiator 150 here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I just got a gentle reminder to mention it because, well, it's been a while and I forgot. These guys are in a very tight pack here. I'm not sure it's going to yield them very much. Oh, as they go for a spin, the 33 got tapped by Jaron in the corner. Oh, and Brian Beach got a piece of that as well. Oh, that's not good for anyone involved. We stay focused here on the 33 of Ty Marasco, down in 17th at the moment. Oh, and just behind him we got someone spinning. That is the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. And another one, the 68, that's Ashton. Going for a big drift into the corners. I'm sorry, Ashton, but you're gonna have to not do that during qualifying. If you want to drift, you should have done it during practice. It looks like we might be just about done here for qualifying, guys. There's not many people still on track. A couple of people rolling around in the pits. Brian Beach and Dustin German are still on track. There's Dustin. There's Brian. Yeah, they are both indeed still on track. Dustin's just done his last lap. And it looks like we are done now. Time to get ready for the race. 24 cars, if you include myself in 25, then we have a strength of field of 2193 here today. We have 3 B-class drivers. The rest of them are all A. We got Ashton starting off the front row, and on his outside will be the 26 of Steve Turner. And starting from P3 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, and on his outside will be the 12 of Matt Burgess. Then we've got the 38 of Thomas Harmon, and on his outside will be the 13 of Travis Massia. Then we're going to have the 28 of Brandon Stevens, and on his outside the 42 of Logan Lansford. Then we are going to have the 3 of Dylan Patterson and Brian Pizzikemi coming out of P10. Position number 11 will see the 16 of Charles Becker. On his outside, the 4 league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. Just behind them we will have the 98 of Jerry Glenn, and on his outside will be the 86 of Gerald West. Then we're going to have Frank Isaacson out of 15 and Caleb Finn in the 95 on his outside. The 33 of Ty Marasco will be starting out of 17th with Wendell Lowe in the 022 on his outside in 18th. We'll have the one of Brandon Bennett starting out of 19th, with Dustin German in the 99 starting out of P20. Then we're going to have Matthew Shields in the 31 starting from 31st, the 21 of Brian Chambliss out of 22nd. And last but not least, we're going to have the 18 of Brian Beach. On his outside will be the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. So we're here for the Gladiator 150 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 60 laps of this fan fave track. A track steeped in history. It's going to be an absolutely awesome race. It looks like Wendell Lowe might have been caught up in the inspection bay and hasn't quite made it to the grid. Hopefully they can get it sorted and get him starting from the pits. We're going to look from the back of the pace car on this one. Just up until the moment of where the pace car goes into the pits, we're looking at Steve Turner there. Well, that's not a very good view from the pace car. Steve Turner, Matt Burgess there on the outside as they coming through turn number 4 now, I do believe. Getting ready to start this race. The Gladiator 150 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're about to go green. Pace car is in. And we are off and racing here for Output Racing League Season 2 2019, race number 5. It looks like Ashton has taken the early lead. Steve Turner slots right in behind him to take the second position. Thomas Harmon looks like he's trying to make moves there, currently up into the 5th position. As the cars all fan out there, trying to find where they can draft, where they can go, trying to find their own little piece of real estate. And I was wrong, Thomas Harmon is now up into P4 as we almost go 3 wide there into turn number 3. That was Matt Burgess that was going to be on the outside. In fact, it looks like we've got another battle just back a little bit more. And that seems to have sorted itself out somewhat. And we're all now mostly single file. I say mostly because back up the front here, we do have the 12 on the outside of Logan Lansford. Travis Massier in the 13 right behind him. Steve Turner going right down low, trying to break that draft a little bit. Trying to see if he could get himself some breathing room. Couldn't quite get it done. As now it looks like the 42 of Logan Lansford starting to drop down the pack a little bit, but he now finds his own spot. Travis Massier is the man on the outside, dropping back now. Everyone's trying to find their way around him. Things are stacking up. We got a battle pack here. These guys are only battling for a top of 8th position there. The front of the pack has strung out quite a bit. But yeah, we got the battle for 8th going on right here as we see Steve snaking his way down the back straight again. So we've got a battle for 8th, we've got a battle for 10th, we've got a battle for 12th. And by the looks of it, a battle for 16th as well. Looks like these guys are somewhat sorted out now. We've got Brian Pizzicami in there. It looks like stuck on the outside is going to be the 16 of Charles Becker. We're going to go back to our leaders now. Steve Turner has taken the lead and he has amassed himself quite the margin, 1.5 seconds going into turn number 3. Back there a little bit, we have got a battle for 3rd position. Thomas Harmon and Ashton, our pole sitter. And that has promoted Jonathan Hernandez into P2 now. So 1st and 2nd in points are currently 1st and 2nd on the track. Thomas Harmon has indeed taken 3rd place from Ashton there. Oh, as we see a little bit of a wall rub there for the 28 of Brandon Stevens. It looks like they've all got it sorted out now. Thomas sitting there in 3rd, wanting to look for a way to get around Jonathan and maybe chase after Steve as well. We're going to have a little look back in the pack here. We got a battle brewing again. Got the 3 on the outside. We're 3 wide on the front straight here. There's Dustin German, the 16 of Charles Becker, and the 3 of Dylan Patterson. The 3 just lost out big time. Dustin German and Charles Becker up into 11th and 12th respectively now. And even the 4 of Jaron Sanchez has gotten around Dylan now, as they thunder their way down the back straight, drafting like you would not believe. I mean, someone would think that we're at Talladega or Daytona with the way these guys are drafting so hard and trying so hard to break the draft. We're going to go back in and check on our leaders now. I say leaders, but it's really 2nd and 3rd that we're looking at, because Steve Turner has jumped out to almost a 2-second lead now. So we've got Jonathan Hernandez still in 2nd, Thomas Harmon in 3rd, Ashton is in 4th, and Brandon Stevens in 5th. And it looks like we might have another little bit of a shake-up out the back there, as we see the 95 of Caleb Finn going on the inside of the 21, which is Brian Chambliss, a man who I previously had butchered the name of many times. Also, somehow we have Mark Penticuff a lap down. He's gone into the pits, that's why he's a lap down. And he has some pretty severe front end damage. I'm not sure what's happened to Mark there, but that is not going to be good for his race. And he takes a smart option and goes down onto the access road to let everyone go by. And now we also have the 3 of Dylan Patterson getting back around the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. That is for 14th and 15th positions. Just in front of them, it looks like Charles Becker and Dustin German have cleared out away from this pack a little bit. They're trying to make their march on the way up to the guys in front. This little pack here is currently being led by Brian Pizzikemi, who is currently in a 9th position. Everything looks like it's kind of sorted out now as we see the 98 of Jerry Glenn going for an inside move on Brian. Will he make the move stick? Brian goes very wide to allow him the space to make the move done. And there it is, simple as that. As we're going to go back up to the front, we've got a development. Jonathan Hernandez has slipped all the way back to 4th. Ashton has taken him again for 3rd, and Thomas has gotten around him for 2nd. Right behind Jonathan now is the 42 of Logan Lansford. So far, the biggest mover and shaker of the race is going to be Dustin German, up to 12th from 20th. That's an 8 position gain so far in this race. As we go back and have a look at the 42 of Logan Lansford now, looks like he is just sitting there in the draft of Brian, actually no, not Brian, of Jonathan Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, ladies and gentlemen. Right behind Logan is the 12 of Matt Burgess, and Brandon Stevens in the 28 behind him. Jonathan, I think his tyres might be going off a little bit, running a little bit wide through turn 2 there. He goes low to try and defend, but everyone else stays up high with that draft pack. Logan now takes the 4th spot for Jonathan, and that leaves Matt Burgess high and dry to try and battle around Jonathan. Couldn't quite get it done. But he is filed straight back in behind Jonathan there. Now he's going to make a move to the inside. Can he get the move done? We see the 5 of Mark Pentecoff back in the pits. He can indeed into turn number 1. We're going to go check back in on our 2nd place driver now. That is the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Almost 3 seconds back from Steve Turner at this point. Thomas will probably be hoping for a caution to come out, whereas Steve would want this to stay green the rest of the way. Especially with the pace that Steve has right now. Steve, a fairly accomplished IndyCar driver here on iRacing. And he's done himself very well here at Indianapolis last week as well, during Indy 500 week on iRacing. But at the moment it looks like these top 3 have just gapped themselves a little bit. There's about 2.5 seconds from Thomas to Steve, and about another second after that back to Ashton in 3rd. As I saw a move there happening in the background, it looked like the 86 of Gerald West trying to get around the 78 of Brian Pizzikemi, and he gets it done before they get into turn 3. That was a nice little move. Now he's going to try and work on the 13 of Travis Massio going into 4. Brian hit the wall a little bit in that short shoot, and Gerald gets the move done on Travis. Travis now done the instant switchback, trying to go back to the inside of Gerald, going back into turn 1. He's going to have the draft out of Brian. Gerald, though, looks like he's very strong on the outside, holds on to that position quite nicely. Having another look back even further now, we've got the 4 of Jones Sanchez embroiled in the battle. He's got the 21 of Brian Chambliss in front of him, and Caleb Finn behind, as we saw Frank Isaacson there in the background, just coming off the wall on the exit of turn 2. I think Frank might have a little bit of damage here in his Autism Awareness number 8 car. Seems to be going fairly slow indeed, unfortunately. As we now see that the 95 of Caleb Finn has gotten around Jaron. That is for 15th and 16th respectively. Jaron not having the best of runs here today. Alright, let's go through the field and see where everyone's at. We've got our leader, Mr. Steve Turner, 2.7 seconds in front of second place Thomas Harmon, who himself has about a 2-second gap over the third place, the number 68 of Ashton. Behind Ashton by a fair margin is going to be the 42 of Logan Lansford, sitting there in the 4th position. But right on Logan's tail is the 12 of Matt Burgess. And then we're going to have the 28 of Brandon Stevens in P6. 7th place is going to be the 98 of Jerry Glenn, but he's about to get passed by the 86 of Gerald West. He's come out of nowhere. He's taken 2 positions on that lap. So Gerald West now P7, Jerry Glenn P8, P9 is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, and 10th place is going to be the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. As we're going to have a little look further back here, saw a big block being thrown by Brian Chambliss on the 95 of Caleb Finn. Jaron starting to drop off away from these guys here. Fastest time of that last lap was done by the 42 of Logan Lansford at the 53.311. He is 1/10 faster than Steve in the lead, and almost 3/10 faster than Ashton in front of him. As we see now, the 12 of Matt Burgess is closed right in on the tail of Logan. And the leaders didn't like the fact that Logan got that fastest time for the lap. They have responded Thomas Harmon with the fastest time in the last lap now. 1/10 clear of Steve in first. And now we see the 12 of Matt making his move on the inside of Logan. Can he get it pulled off in turn 3? He can. Will Logan do a crossover and try and get him back? No, Matt defends it with using that slightly shallower line. Looks like we also had a bit of a move going on in the background there. Wasn't fast enough to see as we see someone going into the pits. I'm not sure who that is. It's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez in the pits already. We're only on lap 19 and he's gone for a pit stop. And now we go back to looking at this battle with the 12 of Matt Burgess. And the question on everyone's mind now will be, do they have anything for the 26 of Steve Turner? We're going to take a short commercial break here, guys. We're in the middle of the Gladiator 150 live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we are back live here at the Gladiator 150 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We have got a flurry of green flag pit stops happening right now. The top four have stayed out. In fact, right now, Thomas Harmon in the 38 has gone to the pits, and so has the 28 of Brandon Stevens. But Steve Turner, Ashton, and Matt Burgess have all stayed out on the track, trying to get as much as they can out of this. With this being such a long track, there is a chance of being able to get in and out without losing the lap. So we're going to have a look at our leader now, Steve Turner, who has entered some lap traffic coming out of the pits. Right on his tail is the 99 of Dustin German, who now clears him and gets himself back onto the lead lap. Steve now going into the pits this lap. Looks like we've got Ashton coming into the pits as well. And Matt Burgess has stayed out. So let's go have a look at Steve, see how he stops in his pit box. Looks like he had a pretty good stop in his box there. As we're going to go and have a look at the 12 of Matt Burgess now, who is still on track, getting passed by all this traffic coming out of the pits. There is a 13 of Travis Massia getting his lap back. I think Matt might be looking at coming into the pits this time. He stays very low on exit, and he is indeed going into the pits. Let's have a look at how Matt's pit stop goes. Will Matt slide through the box, or will he nail it just right? Alright, let's watch it from his gyro cam actually. Oh, a little bit of a slide there in the pit box. And he had to back up, he went too deep into his box. That is going to be very unfortunate. We now have the 78. Oh, Brian Pizzicami still out on the track. Hasn't gone into the pits yet. 33 of Ty Marasco is still out as well. Brian still not pitting this time. Brian and Ty are the only two who haven't gone into the pits yet. Maybe these guys know something that we don't about the fuel strategy. Or maybe even about the tyre strategy. I see now Brian making his way through turn 3. Coming into turn 4 now. Will he go into the pits this time? He sounds like he got right out of it, and he is going down low and into the pits this time. Now let's see if Ty stays in, or comes in or goes out. And Ty has now come to the pits as well. Oh, almost too much on the entry there. And this is going to put the 26 of Steve Turner back in the lead now. And Thomas Harmon is close to him. Thomas getting that little bit of an undercut on Steve definitely helped, but Steve now has the pressure tyres as he's trying to work on the lap traffic of the 8 of Frank Isaacson. Frank down in the 22nd position right now, last car on the lead lap. I think his only saving grace right now is the fact that Steve wanted to use his draft a little bit. And now he has outlasted his usefulness to Steve. Steve now thunders back into the lead. And he's probably hoping quietly that Frank holds up Thomas a little bit. I don't think Frank is like that though. I think Frank will let Thomas go. We now have 4 cars a lap down. Got Brandon Bennett, Frank Isaacson, Mark Pentecoff and Wendell Lowe have all gone laps down. Mark, because of that damage that we saw earlier, which I'm still not sure what it was from, we might have to go back and have a look. I think he might have made an oopsie. Wendell, they finally got the car through tech inspection, but as I said, it was very late indeed. And it looks like Brandon Bennett and Frank Isaacson have just fallen victim to the sheer pace of Steve right now. So let's go and have a look through the field to see where everyone's up to. There's the 38 of Thomas Harmon. He's gotten around the 8 of Frank. Got the 68 of Ashton just behind him. There's the 42 of Logan Lansford in the background, and right on his tail is actually the 86 of Gerald West. Behind them we got the 28 of Brandon Stevens. We got the 99 of Dustin German, up 13 positions from his starting position. Behind him is actually the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, one of the guys who came into the pits fairly early, trying to get that undercut going. Behind him is going to be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. We're going to have Charles Becker in the 16. And then behind him is actually going to be the 13 of Travis Massia. Got the 95 of Caleb Finn after that. Brian Bizikemi in 14th. Brandon Beach is going to be 15th. Jaron Sanchez in 16th. And Jaron is actually under pressure there, but not by the car that's behind him on track. There's a 3 of Dylan Patterson in 17th. We've got the 98 of Jerry Glenn. Matthew Shields in the 31 is going to be 19th, and the 33 of Ty Marasco is in 20th. 20 cars on the lead lap right now. And it looks like Thomas might have a little bit of a fight on his hands very shortly, with Ashton right behind him. Steve is amassing a very large lead again out in front. I think with this network we might have to look at getting an in-race reporter, so we could have someone comment on the racing action while the race is going on for these longer tracks, especially with it being green like this, as now Matthew Shields and Ty Marasco are going to be a threat of going a lap down. You see Steve is right there in the background. He's going to be not too far away from these guys at all. Looks like Ashton, at the moment at least, is content with sitting there in third behind Thomas. As they're coming up to the back of the stricken car of Mark Pentecoff, who, for reasons unknown to us at the moment, still has no nose on that car. Oh, Mark gave Thomas the big squeeze on the outside there. That's allowed Ashton to get the inside run. Thomas is not going to be happy with Mark at all there. Getting in the way of the lead lap drivers. I'm not sure why Mark is choosing to stay on the track there with the leaders coming up behind him like that. Earlier on he showed the ultimate respect by going through the tracks on the infield there. So that's a little bit baffling for me to see that happen. We're going to go have a look at Matthew Shields now. Right behind him, just a couple of seconds back behind him, is actually right there to 26. So that's Steve Turner. Steve is looking very strong right now. It's got over a 5-second lead over Ashton at the moment. I mean, Ashton and Thomas were just held up by the 5 of Mark Pentikoff a little bit. But yeah, Matthew Shields definitely at threat of going a lap down very soon. Looks like we've got a battle going on here at the moment. It's 12 of Matt Burgess. There's got a lap car separating. Oh no, that's Brian Chambliss. So this is the battle for 9th, 10th and 11th. Matt Burgess, Brian Chambliss, and 16 of Charles Becker. Right behind them is the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. Just in front of them is the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Jonathan seems to be really struggling here today. I'm not sure why. Maybe the track just doesn't quite suit him. As now these guys are coming up to the back of the lap down car of Mark Pentikoff. Looks like they navigate Mark a lot cleaner than what Thomas was able to earlier. Now Jonathan is on 5 lap older tyres than Matt Burgess right now. That's why Matt has actually cleared out away from Brian Chambliss as well. The 16 of Charles Becker making his move on Brian as we speak. Charles has 2 lap younger tyres than Brian. It looks like it's really starting to show here. Brian has fresher tyres than these two as well. Brian now going for that inside move. And he is going to take that 11th position going into turn 1. Oh. This is the Brian and Brian show right now. We got Chambliss and Pizzicami. Pizzicami has just taken the 11th position from Chambliss. As we go back to looking at Matt Burgess now, trying to make his way towards the back of the 88. Jonathan Hernandez. It looks like Matthew Shields has gone a lap down now. Dylan Patterson. It seems that we've lost Dylan. No, there he is. My scoring chart showed him a lap down for a second. But looks like he is indeed still rolling. But Matthew Shields in the 31 has gone a lap down now. It even looks like Thomas is starting to drop off of the back of Ashton as well. And that's not very good at all. Thomas was looking so strong until they came up to the back of Mark Pentikoff. back to this little battle here now. Matt wanted to make the move on Jonathan for the 8th position. It looks like Matt's got a little bit of right side damage there. Getting a little bit friendly with the wall at some point. I think Gerald West is in the pits. This is a fairly early stop for Gerald. We've got someone else there in the pits as well. I think that's the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Speaking of making moves, Matt Burgess now on the inside. There is the 16 of Charles Becker there with him as well. Almost making it 3 wide as they're going through turn number 1. Everyone's starting to pick sides. They're 3 wide on the back straight. This is for the 8th position. Every point counts, and these guys are showing it right now. The 16 just makes a power move to get a 2 for 1 as he powers his way into 8th. Matt Burgess now staying in 9th. Now he's under pressure from Brian Pizzicami as pit stops are now happening. Green flag pit stops. This is going to be the last pit stop of the day. Dustin German in the pits. And now Matt is losing position to Brian. He slots down right in front of Jonathan. Says, "You're not coming through as well, young fella. You might be second in points, but I've been in the top 5 in points for a while." Absolutely frenetic action here in the lower positions. It looks like we've only got the couple of takers so far for the pits. As now the 12 is working on the back of Jonathan. Jonathan has actually gotten back around Matt there. I missed it because I was looking at my timing screen. Matt now looking like he's going to make the move on Jonathan. And he does make the move stick. And just in front of them, we got a battle as well. We're going to watch this battle from the gyro cam in Matt's car. The 16 of Charles Becker has just gotten around Brian Pizzicami. You can see that the right side of Matt's car is a little bit bent up. He's got a bit of damage from getting too friendly with that wall on one of the corner exits. You can hear the tyres scrubbing really hard as we've got a spin going into the pits. I think that was Logan. And that was Logan. Let's see what's happened to Logan. He's coming in behind Frank and just spins out behind him. Hits the inside wall there. Oh, and the 95 of Caleb Finn. He went for a spin as well, taking out the commitment cone. He's going to get a penalty for that. In fact, that brought out the caution flag. This is the first caution of the day. With 19 to go, it was a perfectly timed caution at that. This will give everyone a chance to get into the pits, get some fresh tyres on. I was sitting there looking at replays. I forgot to check to see if the caution came out there. So there's a lot of cars that have indeed made pit stops. So those cars will probably be looking to get the wave around now. And it looks like the recipient of the lucky dog might be Dustin German. We'll have to see how it goes when they start crossing the line. As now the pit stop cycle starts. everyone who hasn't pitted yet will be coming in for some fresh rubber. And even if you did recently pit but you managed to stay on the lead lap, you're coming in for some fresh rubber. It looks like Dustin German will indeed be the recipient of the lucky dog. Looks like Steve won the race off pit road. Very close for second, but it just went to Ashton over Thomas. Alrighty guys, time to reset a little bit. We're going to go for a very quick commercial here, and when we come back, we'll be going back to green. Alrighty guys, we're back live here from the Gladiator 150 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As you can see, we're still rolling around under pace laps. We're probably on 2 to go right now, I would imagine. 17 laps left in this race. Gonna get a couple of waiver rounds going here very shortly for Jaron Sanchez, Dylan Pittman, Dylan Patterson, and possibly Frank Isaacson as well. With a couple other lap cars up in there, going to be recipients of waiver rounds as well. Going to have 15 laps to go when we get the green flag, if this is indeed 2 to go right now. Now it'll be interesting to see which lane Steve actually pits for the restart here. Will he go to the outside so he can have the nice run into turn 1? Or will he choose the inside just for the defensive position? And we are on 1 to go now. Where's Steve going to go, inside or outside? Looks like Steve is going to choose the inside of the track. As we get all the waiver rounds going to come back around to the back of the pack. So we're going to have 19 cars on the lead lap when we get the green flag dropped. Current order is Steve Turner, Ashton, Thomas Harmon, Brandon Stevens, Brian Pizzicami, Charles Becker, Jonathan Hernandez, Matt Burgess, Brian Chambliss, and Jerry Glenn. And that is your top 10. Come around turn 4 now. The pace car is going to go back into the pits, and then the start will be in Steve's hands. What can Thomas do from third? Will Ashton get a good jump from second? We're about to find out. The pace car is in. We are back underway. Green flag is out. Steve with an excellent jump. Cuts right up in front of Ashton. Thomas trying to make a move on the low side of Ashton, going through turn 1. Couldn't quite get it done in turn 1. Is he going to get it in turn 2? We'll find out very shortly. Ashton holding on strong in that outside line. Steve goes immediately up to block him. Cars are all over the place as everyone is ducking, diving, weaving and bobbing to try and find a good track position to get into. Thomas now clean and clear into P number 2. Ashton's back into third. Right behind them it looks like we've got the 16 of Charles Becker dropping back very slightly. He's 3 wide on the outside as we got a car in the pits. That is Caleb Finn in the 95. And it looks like Charles has held on for a battle from Brian Pizzicami and from Jonathan Hernandez in the 88, second in the points. Ashton now making a move back on the 38 of Thomas Harmon to try and take that second position on the inside, but it looks like Thomas is holding on strong on the outside there. He has got the 28 of Brandon Stevens pushing him to get past Ashton. Thomas cuts down and takes that position back. Looking back again very slightly, we're going to the 86 car. That is Gerald West, who is trying to get a move going here in this little bit of a clustered situation. He's on the outside of Jonathan Hernandez. Brian Beach has poked his nose up through the middle. Thinks better of it. Gerald now takes that spot from the 88 of Jonathan to make that 8th position for Gerald. On the outside there around Jonathan is going to be the 12 of Matt Burgess. As we see the 18 of Brian Beach starting to drop back a little bit as well. These guys are absolutely clustered right now. That's what restarts do, as we see Dustin German and Jonathan Hernandez going 3 wide with Brian Beach there very momentarily. Brian with the outside momentum gets around both of them. I think saw sparks there from someone hitting the wall. Oh, we got a spin! Someone's just been spun down to the inside. I'm not sure who that was. That was the 98 of Jerry Glenn getting spun there. Let's see that again. Oh, that's a close one. We'll have to take a look at that from a different angle. Oh! That car on his outside. That is the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Coming down and giving him a tap on the front. That left Logan with nowhere to go, but straight into the back of Jerry there as well. As we are now back into live pictures, looks like Thomas Harmon has actually dropped back to 4th. Brandon Stevens and Ashton have both gotten around him. As we see, the battles are still resuming. See the 88 there of Jonathan Hernandez caught up in that incident. Way down on the inside. He has been dropping like a stone ever since the restart. The 33 of Ty Marasco in front of him, which would put Jonathan back in 13th position. This is not going to be good for Jonathan's championship run there. Back up front with 10 to go, we've still got Steve Turner showing everyone how it's done around here at Indy. He's almost gotten a full second lead. These guys are still just within draft range, but the way that Steve has been handling this race, I don't think anyone really has got anything for him. This might be an open and shut victory for him. Right behind Steve is the 68 of Ashton. Looks like Jerry might be back on track now. I don't see him in the pits, albeit 2 laps down, unfortunately for Jerry. He had a fairly good run going. As we're watching this battle for P2 right now, who's going to take it out? I mean, these guys have been racing for second all day here under the beating hot sun of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Gladiator 150. It looks like things are starting to get a little bit calmed down again now as we're entering this final stage of the race. We are within the last 10 laps. There'll be 8 laps to go when they get to the start-finish line. Steve Turner, followed by Ashton, followed by Brandon Stevens and Thomas Harmon. Hard charger of this race at the moment is going to be the 21 of Brian Chambliss, up into 8th after starting 22nd. It looked like we had a bit of a battle going on in the back there. Not sure where it was. It looks like it's in front of Jaron. Here it is. We found it. Jonathan Hernandez, Logan Lansford, the 33 of Ty Marasco, and Travis Massier in the 13. Looks like we've just missed out on the battle that was. And Jonathan has come out on top with Logan coming out second there. But Logan is actually a lap down car, so he's not a factor in this race. Jonathan's in 12th, Ty's in 13th, Travis is in 14th, Logan down in the 18th position, first car a lap down. So we're going to go back and focus on our second place driver here of Ashton. It looks like we might have a battle warming up very soon for the 5th position. Charles Becker there being hounded by Brian Pizzicami. Right behind them is the 86 of Gerald West, a man who has shown so much race potential in this series, but hasn't been able to convert too many since his awesome run at the end of Season 2 of Output Racing League. And it looks like the 16 is actually closing in on the back of the 38, Thomas Harmon, our defending league champion. It's come down to 5 laps to go. This is when the action is going to start heating up. If we get a caution now, the race will be over and Steve Turner will be crowned the winner. It looks like Gerald now hounding the back, the 78 of Brian. Can Gerald get that spot from Brian? That would promote Gerald up into 6th and demote Brian down to 7th. They both have very similar tyres at the moment, both of them 15 lap old tyres. Oh, Gerald's hit the fence! Gerald's gone for a big spin now after hitting the fence in the short shoot between 1 and 2. No caution, we stay green. Gerald, after being in such a promising position, looks like he's dropped back behind the 12 of Matt Burgess, which would put him in 10th position. So he's still in the top 10, but only just. So we're going to go back and have a look at our second place guys, see what's going on here. Looks like they're starting to encounter some lap traffic again. That is the 5 of Mark Pentecoff once more. He's already thrown one spanner into the works for these leaders. Will he throw another one in there? It looks like he very wisely gets out of the way there so the leaders can pass by safely. He was almost going to go all the way up to the wall, but he thought better of it. But he has very slightly just stunted the runs of the 28 and the 38. Oh, I don't know. It's really hard for me to be impartial. Mark is a great bloke. I think he's a good bloke. But Mark, when it comes to these final few laps and you got the leaders right up on your ass, you've got to start taking that access road, man. Come on, let's be real. But either way, it doesn't look like it has affected these leaders too much, though. They are still trundling on with the job. Mark now getting right back down to the inside again to get out of the way. As we're going to go and sit on the 26 now. Steve Turner with a commanding lead. He's just taking it easy right now. You can hear it in his engine. He's not pushing anything whatsoever as he comes to get the white flag. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it all, wear it. And Steve is definitely winning it, and he's going to be wearing that winner's grin. Extending his points lead. This will put Steve in a very commanding lead overall. Especially with his title rival Jonathan Hernandez all the way down in 12th position. That's not going to be very good for Jonathan at all. As he comes through turn 3 now, with his 2.2 second lead over Ashton in second. Here he is, the Mission 22. Number 26, Steve Turner, to take the checkered flag here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Gladiator 150. Second place is going to go to the 68 of Ashton. And then the 28 of Brandon Stevens is going to get P3. Alrighty guys, we're going to go to a quick break while we get the drivers sorted out for interviews. So make sure you stick around and we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back and we're kicking things off with our Hard Charger Award. The Hard Charger tonight is going to be, drumroll please, the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Brian, I think this is your first Hard Charger Award, at least the first televised one. Uh, Congratulations, man, first and foremost. And how was your race?
It was pretty good. I mean, the cars are super, super tight. My strategy was just kind of hang out in the back. I thought we were going to have more accidents. Hopefully, capitalize on some of that, but that didn't happen. But I was still able to work my way forward with pit strategy and getting on pit road correctly.
Well, yeah, it was some pit strategy that you went through. Up from 22nd to P8, man. That is no mean feat.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was hard to pass here. A lot of that was done on pit road, so that's new. I knew pit road was going to be important, but uh, we were able to move forward, and have a pretty good finish here.
Well, man, congratulations on getting your Hard Charger Award. You're going to be in the running for that bonus at the end of the year. Anyone you'd like to thank while we got you up here in the booth?
Yeah, sure. So I'm carrying odmp.org on the car. It's Officer Down Memorial page. On there, if you go to their site, they have a list of officers that die throughout the year or pass away in the line of duty. And you can click on one of theirs and select to donate if you want to, and all those proceeds go towards those lost officers' families and help support them. So shout out to them for being partners for me and allowing me to run their stuff. It's a great organization.
Alright, man, that's absolutely awesome. Much respect to the men and women who go out and put their lives on the line to protect our respective great nations. Alright,
Yeah,
man.
it's great stuff. Carrying two officers on the car with me today. They're both on the rear quarter panels of the car. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. While we're at it, we should go check it out. Let's have a look at these. Oh, actually, no, I can't because I've got the camera set up in a certain way. We'll go and check it out after we're finished doing the interviews.
It's all right. You can get it in another one. I appreciate it.
Alright, thank you very much, Brian. And again, congratulations on an excellent Hard Charger Award, man.
Thanks.
Alright, guys, so that was the 21 of Brian Chambliss, up from 22nd to P8. That is amazing. What a run. And now from the Hard Charger Award, we're going to go on to our third place getter today, who is the 28 of Brandon Stevens. Brandon, welcome to the booth first and foremost. I'm some Aussie bloke that these guys like talking about their races. Congratulations on P3, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. It was a fun race.
So how was the race from your perspective? Because I noticed that you were there or thereabouts for generally most of the race. How tight was the car and how was passing for you?
Uh, it wasn't super bad if you kind of lined up for the draft, planned it out. But yeah, I kind of screwed up my first pit stop. I lost a few spots, but gained them back and kind of fought my way back up there.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, man. I mean, we were just talking to the hard charger, and he was saying that he found it to be very difficult to pass, especially on the longer runs, and he took most of his positions in pit strategy. Was there any kind of pit strategy for you, or were you just generally finding grip where others weren't?
I think I made most of my ground up on two. I was going in low, letting off early, and going in low, and could get a pretty good run out. Made a few passes up coming out of there.
Alright, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank for helping you out here tonight?
No, not really. It's pretty much just a one man show here. So,
Alright, no worries, man. Well, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on getting that podium, and we'll see you again next week.
all right. Thanks a lot, man.
Alrighty, guys, so that was the 28 of Brandon Stevens up into P3 there. I think I almost said P2. Alrighty, next up, We got our second place driver, a man whose last name I can't pronounce. We got the number 68 of Ashton. Ashton, congratulations on second. And please, please, please tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Right, it's Schleiss.
Schleiss. Alright, I didn't want to stuff it up because my last name's very German as well. And, I get annoyed when people don't pronounce it right, so I had to ask. Alrighty, man. Now, you were fairly strong all race. You were always up and about the top five there. Good battle that you had going on with Thomas Harmon. Maybe slightly disappointing with the way that you got around him because of Mark Pentecoff holding him up there. What's your views on the situation?
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate. We were racing pretty hard, but I wouldn't have been able to make a pass otherwise. I don't think, just because of the arrow push. It was so bad, man. It's just so hard to maneuver around other cars.
Yeah, we had Brian Chambliss in here earlier. He was the hard charger, and he was saying that it was really difficult to pass. But you guys up the front seem to have been handling it all right, except for Steve, who was just miles ahead of everyone for most of the race. Um, what? How was the thought process with trying to make some of those moves on track?
Really, it was just just trying to stay alive mainly, and for speed, it was just coast through the corners, and when you started to feel the hook, punch it, and just hope you don't hit the wall. A couple of times I got really close and even touched it. It and just being Steve stayed up front. I think one because he's good, and two because he had that clean air, and that clean air he was just able to fly away.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is he's no stranger to running the Indy cars, especially around here. So I think that bit of track knowledge that he's got also helped him a bit as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say his moves on the front stretch sometimes, where we went all the way down to the bottom. That was something you'd see from the 500.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm saying, his IndyCar experience around here probably came in a bit clutch for him and helped him to just gap you guys that little bit.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank for helping you out here tonight?
Really, just gotta thank Jaron for putting up the league and allowing me in. This is pretty cool to run with these guys. I've not done a league with the Cup car yet, so it's an interesting experience. Frustrating at times, but it's fun. And I gotta thank you for putting on the broadcast.
Oh, there's no worries on my behalf, mate. I get paid to do this. Alrighty, well, thank you very much, man. Congratulations on your second position, and we'll see you back again next week.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, guys, so that was the 68 of Ashton Schleiss. 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 I fucking butchered it already. He told me how to pronounce it, and I fucked it up. Alrighty, coming up next, a man who needs absolutely no introduction. And I mean, like, he really needs none. All you have to do is look at his car, and you instantly know who it is. Our points leader, race dominator, and just general all-round pretty good guy, Mr. Steve Turner.
Hey
Steve,
Corey, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, mate. How are you?
Oh man, what a great race, and not much more I can say. I mean, we're almost perfect. I tagged the wall a couple times, but didn't really get any damage out of it, and held the lead the whole race. I think we missed 4 laps is all that we didn't lead, and that was just through a green flag pit stop. So, perfect race all the way around.
I would dare say that it was damn near perfect race. I mean, you were so dominant the entire time. Even when that caution came out, I thought, alright, everyone's going to be on fresh tyres again. Someone's got to have something for Steve. But no, you just ran with it and absolutely dominated, man.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing when that caution came out. I was thinking in my head, well, here goes. I'm gonna get wrecked, and then I got a pretty decent restart. The who was it? It was Thomas and Ashton behind me got side by side. Ashton got a good run down the back stretch, and I pulled up and blocked him and got that little bit of a bump that pushed me out just enough to where I could start feeding them guys dirty air. And as soon as they got my dirty air, there's nothing they could do.
Yeah, well, me and Ashton were just talking about that, and we were saying that that clean air and maybe that little bit of IndyCar experience that you got as well, with the way that you dived right down low to break the draft and then feed them the dirty air again, is really what helped you to get that dominant streak going. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, that's kind of one of my secrets. I heard you guys talking about it, and I was like, oh shit, he said it. Yeah, the IndyCar experience definitely comes into play. These cars run a lot like the Indy cars. They're just not open wheel and they're heavier. But yeah, just IndyCar experience really came into play here. Feeding dirty air was real key.
Oh yeah, I'll let you in on a little secret. I figured it out during the race. Alrighty, man. Well, that was a very dominant win again. So I know you got some people to thank. Who you got to thank, man?
Oh yeah, give a shout out to Jaron putting the league on. Also Aaron, he doesn't race with us much anymore, but he's also a league founder. All the guys in the league that raced me clean. We had a great race tonight, and then give a shout out to you out in the booth, sitting there watching us go around in circles for about an hour.
Hey, sitting
Oh,
here.
and by the way, good Skippy race with you the other day too.
Oh, thank you very much. Another race that Mr. Steve Turner here absolutely dominated by 7.5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me lately. I'm getting really good, but I'm about to leave for Korea, so all this talent's going to go away, and then I'm going to lose it until I come back in 9 months.
Well, hey, at least you're still going to have the talent when you come back, maybe. If they haven't.
I just wish I could have the points lead too, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, unfortunately, we can't delay the league 9 months just for you.
Well, darn.
Anyway, Steve, absolutely dominating the race. Congratulations again. And we'll see you again here next week.
All right, thanks, Corey.
Alrighty, guys. So that was the league race here for today. I would normally drag Jaron up into the booth right now and have a chat to him. But, nah. So, we wanted to go have a look at Brian Chambliss's car. And let's have a squizzy here. There you go. Officer Anthony Neary. Sanibel Police Department. 6th of May 2019 on the left rear. On the right rear, got Trooper Matthew Gaddy, Tennessee Highway Patrol, 6th of May 2019. So there you go. There is that awesome thing that Brian was doing. I'm not American, but I'm proud of the way that our national forces protect our countries, and I have much respect for anyone who does that. And just like that, I have so much respect for Steve. Steve is in the armed forces, guys, and that's why he's got to take a leave of absence part of the way through this season. So we wish Steve all the best when he does go to Korea for his deployment, and we hope things go well for him there and we can have him back safely. With that, guys, we are going to wrap up this broadcast here. Thank you guys for coming out. This is the first broadcast back since we gotten the computer problem sorted out again. And we're going to be looking at hitting this season hard with all the output races for the rest of the season. Thank you guys for coming out. It's been absolutely amazing to have you guys here. And we will see you guys again next week.